Oh, hi, hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today I have a very interesting topic for you guys. Today we're going to be discussing the interview. Ah yes, the dreaded interview that can make or break your chances of coming to Japan. Alright. However, today I'm gonna make that process so much easier for you. Alright? First of all, the interview. Who will be in the interview? So there's going to be a panel once you get to your interview station, which would usually be at the embassy, right? You are going to have to do the interview with a Japanese representative, so that's a Japanese teacher. From memory, that's a Japanese teacher. There's going to be a JET alumni. There's going to be another person who's going to be there, I think, to represent the embassy. And for me, there was 5 persons on the panel, but usually there would be 3. So please expect anywhere between 3 to 5 persons on the interview panel. All right. Next, I want you guys to prepare for this just like any other job interview. So what it is that you are going to wear to the interview. As you can see, I am wearing a jacket, just a regular tone jacket and a black undershirt. For the gentlemen, same thing. You're going to wear your pants, tailored pants, t-shirt, a tie, just to look as professional as possible. For the ladies, please make sure that your skirts are not too tight or not too short. You're appropriately attired. If it is that you wear jewelry, make sure that your jewelry is tasteful. I would just recommend you wear just a wristwatch, and if you wear earrings, like a normal knob earring, nothing too gaudy, nothing too out there, but put yourself together tastefully. All right. Next, the most important of them all, read over your statement of purpose. All right. Whatever it is that you write in your statement of purpose will be the basis on which most of your interview will be conducted. All right. So make sure you read over your statement of purpose and refresh your memory as to what it is that you wrote in your essay, or what you wrote and sent in ahead of time. All right. That way you know that, all right, I spoke about wanting to do this when I get to Japan, or wanting to be able to benefit from this, so that when you're not caught off guard, like, oh my god, I can't remember what I wrote. All right. All right. So next things next, you're going to look up some commonly asked JET program interview questions. All right. So don't worry, I'll have your back on this one. I did some work for you guys, and I looked up some commonly asked JET program questions. Now I only have 7 here. So first of all, these are just example questions that they may ask you. Why do you want to go on the JET program? Like, you should be able to answer that at the tip of your tongue. Why do you want to go on JET? I would love to be a cultural ambassador. I'd love to learn from the Japanese people. This is what I've heard from other individuals who went on JET before, and they piqued my interest. Yada yada yada. Make sure that you are poised and you pause between every question that you are asked, and you think about what it is that you're going to say before you actually open up your mouth and say it. All right. All right. So question number 2. What makes someone a good ALT? An ALT, if you don't already know, means assistant language teacher. This is a 2-part question. What makes someone a good ALT, and what have you done that demonstrates these qualities? I'm thinking for this question, they're trying to test who you are beyond surface level. They're trying to get to know you with this question, right? So somebody who is attentive, somebody who is let me see, somebody who is able to think quickly on their feet, somebody who is cheerful, somebody who is able to work well with other individuals, And the next part of the question, what have you done that demonstrate these qualities? And I'm thinking that this is speaking towards anything that you may have done in the past. It doesn't have to necessarily relate to your field of study, because as you know, with JET, you don't have to be an English teacher to apply on the JET program, right? So anything that you have done, for example, you've done community work, which show that you are helpful, which show that you care for others, you assisted at the library, you spent your time volunteering to do this, so on and so forth. All right, so question number 3, how will you represent your home country while in Japan? It's a 2-part question. How will you represent it at school? Well, actually a 3-part question. And in the broader community. Let me tell you what I have done so that it will give you an example. How I represented Jamaica in Japan was I went around in the community and I volunteered for a whole lot of things. So I volunteered to learn how to do the dance. So there's a specific dance that is done within my city, and I went and I volunteered to learn how to do that. I volunteered to do rice planting because I live in a farming community. I volunteered to teach English to the residents in the area. Yeah. I also taught cooking classes, in which I demonstrated how to cook like Jamaican meals and so on and so forth. Alright, so that's something that I have done. You could think ahead about some of the things that you could do, some of the things that you want to share about your country, and some of the things that you want to, you know, the other persons to experience what you bring to the table. Alright? Now, question number 4. This is a multi-layered question. Alright? How would you handle stressful situations at school? A problem student, a problem classroom, conflicts with co-workers. How will you work together with Japanese colleagues? Alright, so because this is a multi-layered question, you're going to have to sit and think about it, and there's nothing wrong with asking them to repeat a section of the question that you may have forgotten. For example, how will you handle stressful situations at school? For me personally, how I handle it is I find something outside of school which helps me to de-stress, and for me that was YouTube. So this is my de-stressor. Making my videos, editing my videos is my de-stressor. A problem student, it is not your responsibility to deal with students. You would then get the Japanese English teacher to help you, or you bring the problem of the student to the Japanese teacher. Alright, that's not in your please do not take that on. A problem classroom. Now, a classroom can be problematic for many reasons. Your lesson plan is just not up to par. The students are not engaged enough, or the teacher is stressed. The Japanese English teacher is just stressed, or the Japanese English teacher does not help you any at all. Because I've had situations like that where I'm struggling in the class and the teacher is standing at the back of the class, like, yeah. So you're gonna have to learn to deal with these situations once you come here. Now, create better lesson plans, which is one. Have as many activities to keep the students engaged, and ask for additional help within the classroom. If you realize that you can't handle the classroom and the Japanese English teacher cannot handle the classroom or the students by themselves, ask for another person to come and sit in, especially if there's a special needs students there. Alright? Alright, the other part, conflicts with co-workers. Conflict might arise. From personal experience, you have to deal with this from a professional level. From a professional perspective. Take the matter with somebody who is above you. So the principal or supervisor. If there's conflict between you and a co-worker, bring the matter to your supervisor and let the supervisor deal with that for you. Alright? Next, the other part is B. How will you work together with Japanese colleagues? For those individuals like myself who came here and you do not have, you do not know a lick of Japanese, that's fine. Most Japanese people, they know something as simple as hello, how are you? There's something called omiyage, so it means that you bring like little gifts or little sweets or little trinkets to give to your co-workers. So the first of all, you're going to establish, going forward, you're going to establish a good working relationship with your co-workers. So bring with you a small omiyage or something to give to your co-workers that can let them know that, listen, I'm a friendly person. You can approach me at any time. When you walk past them in the hallway, say hello, you know, give a greeting, smile. That can help to break a whole lot of barriers. All right, moving on. Question number 5. If you see me looking down, I'm actually looking at the questions. All right, question number 5. It says, is there anything that could bring you down while living in Japan? How would you handle difficult times or situations in Japan? Now, this is a very important question that they may ask you, or they may word it a little bit differently, because from my experience, a lot of English teachers have come here and have fallen in depression, because Japan can be a very lonely place, and I've said this so many times in so many of my other videos. You have to be of a sound mind, and this is why they request that you do so many tests, so many mental evaluations before you actually come on the program. Because imagine being placed on an island by yourself, one of the smaller islands, by yourself as the only English speaking person there, and there's no other foreigner around you. That can mess with your head after a period of time, because there's only so much a phone call can do. Alright? So how would you deal with situations? You have to keep yourself occupied. Alright, so that's just one of the stressful situations which may come up. You may become frustrated with the difficulty in the language barrier. If you become sick and you have to go to the doctor, you have to explain certain things, and just overall a clash in cultural differences. So my advice to you there in answering that question is to try to keep in contact as much as possible with your family and friends, and try to make as many friends as you can with Japanese people around you, and try to keep yourself as occupied and as active as possible. All right, next is, what would you do for games and lessons in Japan? What examples can you give? Now this this question, can you imagine you're sitting down in the interview and somebody asks you this question, like, what would you do for games and lessons in Japan? What? I've never thought before in my entire life, like what? Don't worry, I'm going to make a video showing you a demo lesson as to how it is that you can, you know, just an example as to how the lessons flow here in Japan. Alright, so I got you on that one. Number 7 and last from this list. If your students have very low level English ability, how will you communicate with them? How will you teach them? The students, 99% of the students are not bilingual, so their English ability will be very low. Alright, so therefore what you want to do is you want to communicate with your students constantly, meaning just using the very simple English that they do know. For example, hello, how are you? You pass them in the hallway, you do that greeting with them. You may take things to them, like for example, you may show them like a comic book, or do not bring food to the students. That's a no-no. But like physical things that you can show them, that you can tell them about your own country. Alright? So you could do that and help to build that rapport with your students. Alright? So that's how you communicate with them, just by constantly talking to them and constantly, you know, showing them interesting things and so on and so forth. How will you teach them? You teach them with the assistance of the Japanese English teacher. That's how you will teach them. That's how you will answer that question. Alright? Good. Now, moving along. you should anticipate questions about your personal history. So for my friends out there who have a criminal record, you know, those persons who like to post on the gram or on the internet certain things, be prepared to be asked about that. Okay. All right, so you know, they may ask you some information like that, like personal things based on what it is that you put on your application form. You know, be prepared to talk about how it is that you got through those situations and how it is that those situations helped you to become a better person. All right, as I previously said before, be ready to improvise a lesson. So they ask you to create a lesson on the spot, right? Can you demonstrate for us a lesson that you would teach an elementary class, a first grade elementary class? I have a degree or a master's in banking and finance. I don't know anything about teaching first graders, but that's the beauty of it. You have to learn to think on your feet here. All right, for example, you're like, take a moment to think about it. First graders. Okay, so first of all, I'll start out by my lesson would be about the alphabet, because I believe that this would be what students in the first grade would be learning about, their introduction to the English language. So I'll bring with me cards with the letters A to Z, and then I would say the letter, and then they would repeat after me, and then say another letter, they would repeat after me, and then we could have a little game where I put the letters on the board and then I turn them over, or I put the letters on the board and I mix the order of the letters, and then have the students come up and try to put the letters in the correct order. I could also have songs, I could incorporate songs, and that is how my first lesson or a lesson would be. I'm thinking that the lesson would be about 30 to 35 minutes, and that is what I would use, or that is what I would do for my first grade students. So first of all, introduce the alphabet. Second of all, do a game. Third of all, have a song, and then just repeat and practice. All right? Yeah. For the persons who said or who have written on their form that they speak Japanese, please study your Japanese, because there will, as I said earlier, there's going to be a Japanese teacher there on the board who will be asking you questions in Japanese. I wrote on my paper, I do not speak Japanese, but yet still I was asked questions in Japanese. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to be asked questions in Japanese even though you do not know. So I don't know why they do that, but they're just still testing you. But just let them know, I do not understand. What can I don't know. So that you could study, like go look online, like some as a very simple Japanese term, I don't know. What can I? And for the persons who say that they speak Japanese, please touch up on your Japanese speaking ability, because you know nerves can get the better of you. Alright? And last but definitely not least, they may ask you if you have any questions that you'd like to ask them. My advice to you, have prepared at least 3 questions. Alright? How, for example, how can you connect with the community? Can you give any advice as to how I may be able to connect with the community once I get to Japan? Another question may be, what advice would you give me to be able to best connect with my students or speak or communicate with my students? And then you can ask another question after that. Alright? Just prepare to ask them questions related to Japan. Not where is the best anime store, or no. Even if you are interested in those things, guys, please leave your personal love, like, oh my god, I love anime so much, please leave that alone. Don't bring that to the interview. Alright? Alright, so that is it. So my final words to you is just be relaxed, be professional, and speak clearly, be concise, look the interviewers in the eyes, you know, things of that nature. And don't worry, you got this. You got this. You got this in the bag. Alright? Don't worry about anything, you have it. And if you want further information as to how it is that you may transition into Japan, you can also visit, that is TOFUGU. I'll put it down below. TOFUGU Jet Program Guide, and also alteredacademics.com. Alright? So until next time, guys, please remember to like, to subscribe, and to share this information with anybody who you know will be coming to Japan and who may find it useful. So until next time, bye guys.